Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the solar system. The solar system comprises the sun and the planetary systems that orbits the sun, either directly or indirectly. So you have the general system and then the sun in the middle and all the planets roaming around the sun. Of all those objects that orbit the sun directly, the 8 of them are the planets, the largest 8. With the remainder being significantly smaller objects such as dwarf planets and smaller solar system bodies such as comets and asteroids. Of those that orbit the sun indirectly, like the moons, 2 are larger than the smallest planet Mercury, which are either Saturn's moons or Jupiter's moons. Saturn's moon Titan is around the same size as Earth. The solar system formed 4.6 billion years ago from the gravitational collapse of a giant interstellar molecular cloud. The vast majority of the system's mass is in the Sun, with most of the remaining mass contained in Jupiter. The 4 smaller inner planets Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars are terrestrial planets, being primarily composed of rock and metal. The 4 outer planets are giant planets, being substantially more massive than the inner terrestrial planets. The 2 largest, Jupiter and Saturn, are gas giants, being composed of mainly hydrogen and helium. The 2 outermost planets, Uranus and Neptune, are ice giants, being composed of partially substances with high melting points compared with hydrogen and helium. These are ices, water, ammonia, and methane. All planets have almost circular orbits that lie within a nearly flat disk called the ecliptic. Now, like I said before, the solar system also contains smaller objects. The Asteroid Belt, which lies between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter, mostly contains objects composed like the terrestrial planets of rock and metal. Beyond Neptune's orbit lies the Kuiper Belt, which are populations of trans-Neptunian objects composed of mostly ices, and beyond them a newly discovered population of sednoids. Within this population are several dozen to possibly tens of thousands of objects large enough to have been rounded by their own gravity. Such objects are categorized as dwarf planets. Identified dwarf planets include the asteroid Ceres and the trans-Neptunian objects Pluto and Eris. In addition to these 2 regions, various other small body populations, including comets, centaurs, and interplanetary dusts, freely travel between regions. 6 of the planets, at least 3 of the dwarf planets, and many of the smaller bodies are orbited by natural satellites, usually termed moons after our moon. Each of the outer planets is encircled by planetary rings of dust and other small objects. In the 17th century, Galileo Galilei, Johannes Kepler, and Isaac Newton developed an understanding of physics that led to the gradual acceptance of the idea that Earth moves around the Sun and that the planets are governed by the same physical laws that governed Earth. The invention of the telescope led to the discovery of further planets and moons. Improvements in the telescope and the use of unmanned spacecraft have enabled the investigation of geological phenomena such as mountains, craters, seasonal meteorological phenomena such as clouds, dust storms, and ice caps on the other planets in the solar system. I have a large image that displays the planets and other celestial objects in the solar system, and I'd like to show it to you here. First, we have the Sun, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Earth, Venus, Mars, Ganymede, which is a moon of Jupiter, Titan, which is a moon of Saturn, Mercury, Callisto, another major moon of Jupiter, Io, which is a moon of Jupiter, the Moon, which is our moon, Europa, Triton, Pluto, Titania, Rhea, Oberon, and Iapetus. I really don't know how to pronounce that. Europa is another moon of Jupiter, and Triton is a moon of Neptune. Pluto is a Kuiper Belt object or a dwarf planet. Titania is a major moon of Uranus. Rhea is a moon of Saturn. Oberon is a moon of Uranus, and Iapetus is a moon of Saturn. Charon is the dwarf moon of Pluto. And we have a bunch of other celestial objects. Some non-spherical objects like Prometheus and Pandora are two moons of Saturn, but they don't resemble a circular body. Thanks for watching my video, and I hope you learned something.